Have you ever felt like life is passing by, but somehow, you're standing still? That's exactly how Arian felt. Every morning, he woke up to the same routine, walked the same streets, and lived in the comfort of habits that felt safe but didn't challenge him. He had dreams, big, vivid, unstoppable dreams, but they stayed locked inside him, buried beneath fear and doubt. Arian wasn't born afraid. He had a spark, a unique gift to create designs and ideas that could inspire thousands. But somewhere along the way, the fear of failing, the fear of judgment, and the pull of comfort had caged him. He told himself he was safe where he was, but deep down, a restless voice whispered that he was wasting his potential. Friends tried to encourage him, but Arian only smiled politely, afraid to take the leap that could change everything. One evening, tired of his own excuses, he stepped onto his balcony, staring at the sky as the sun dipped below the horizon. The world outside seemed alive, vibrant, and full of endless possibilities. And then he noticed a small bird struggling to fly. Its wing looked hurt, and it kept falling, yet it refused to give up. Every time it hit the ground, it flapped its wings harder, determined to rise. Arian couldn't look away. In that tiny, fragile creature, he saw himself, the same fear, the same hesitation, but also the same potential. He realized that the bird's struggle wasn't weakness, it was courage. And yet, Arian, with all his abilities, had never tried. He had wings of his own, powerful enough to take him anywhere, but he had convinced himself he didn't need to fly. That night, as the stars filled the sky, Arian faced a truth he had been avoiding: comfort had become a cage. The walls weren't physical, they were invisible, built by his own fears and doubts. The dreams he longed for were waiting just beyond those walls, but he had been too scared to reach for them. Watching the bird struggle yet persist, he understood something crucial: the only way to grow, to feel alive, to truly live, was to step out. And in that moment, a spark ignited inside him, a quiet, determined thought: if even a small bird can risk falling to learn to fly, why can't I risk stepping out to chase my dreams? The very next morning, Arian woke up with a restless energy he hadn't felt in years. The memory of the struggling bird and its relentless courage haunted him in a way that refused to fade. He knew something had to change. Today, he decided, he would take a step, a small, trembling, uncertain step, but a step nonetheless. He sat at his desk, staring at one of his designs, a creation he had poured months of effort into but had never shown to anyone. His heart raced, his palms sweated, and a storm of thoughts filled his mind. What if it's terrible? What if people mock me? What if I fail? Yet, in the midst of this fear, a small voice whispered, what if it inspires someone? What if it changes your life? With trembling hands, Arian uploaded the design online. He felt exposed, vulnerable, like a bird perched on a branch for the very first time, unsure if the wings would hold. And then, he waited. Seconds felt like hours. But slowly, messages and comments began to trickle in. People appreciated the work, some asked questions, some encouraged him to create more. For the first time in years, Arian felt the thrill of being seen, of connecting, of sharing his gift with the world. It was intoxicating. Encouraged by this small victory, Arian began to push further. He experimented with bigger, bolder projects he had always been too scared to attempt. Each new attempt brought fresh doubts, but with each success, no matter how small, his confidence grew. He realized something profound: stepping out of the comfort zone didn't mean the fear disappeared. It meant learning to act despite it. The cage of familiarity began to crack, and he could sense the wings he had forgotten to use stretching, ready to carry him higher. Then came an unexpected opportunity, an invitation to showcase his work at a local art exhibition. At first, Arian hesitated. The idea of standing in front of a crowd terrified him. But he remembered the bird that refused to give up, the tiny creature that risked falling over and over to rise. If a bird could try, fail, and try again, why couldn't he? That night, as he prepared, Arian reflected on the invisible cage that had held him for so long. The fear he had treated as protection now felt like chains. And for the first time, he understood: growth, courage, and freedom begin at the edge of discomfort. Every leap, no matter how scary, brought him closer to the sky he had always dreamed of touching. The day of the exhibition arrived, and Arian's heart was pounding like never before. He stood backstage, watching people gather, feeling both excitement and fear battling within him. Memories of the old Arian, the one too scared to even try, flooded his mind. But this time, he refused to let them control him. He took a deep breath, remembering the little bird that had struggled but never given up. Today, he would take flight too. Stepping into the hall, Arian felt a wave of nervous energy, but as he began presenting his work, something remarkable happened. People stopped, stared, and admired his creations. They asked questions, shared their thoughts, and praised his creativity. Each smile, each nod of approval, was like a gust of wind under his wings, lifting him higher than he had ever imagined. He realized that the fear that had held him back for so long had no real power, it was only the chains he had allowed to exist. As the exhibition went on, Arian noticed a transformation within himself. The doubts and insecurities that had once weighed him down were now nothing but whispers in the background. He was fully present, fully alive, and fully free. Every small step, every risk he had taken, had led him to this moment. It was proof that stepping out of comfort zones, embracing uncertainty, and daring to try were the keys to unlocking potential. Later, as he stepped outside, exhausted but exhilarated, Arian saw the familiar bird perched on a tree nearby. Its wings were fully healed, strong, and majestic. With a graceful leap, it soared into the sky, gliding effortlessly. Arian smiled, understanding the powerful lesson it had taught him months ago. The wings were always there, waiting. The courage to use them had been his only missing piece. From that day on, Arian refused to settle for comfort over growth. He continued to create, to explore, and to inspire others with his journey. Each challenge became an opportunity, each failure a lesson, and each success a reminder of the freedom that comes when you embrace your true potential. He had finally learned what it meant to fly, not just in dreams but in life. Arian's story reminds us all, the only thing standing between us and our dreams is fear. The wings we have may feel heavy or unused, but when we dare to take the first leap, we discover that we are capable of soaring higher than we ever imagined. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment of courage to change the course of our lives forever.